Deuteronomy 1. This is the message Moses gave to the Israelites while they were in the wilderness east of the Jordan River. They were in the desert valley near Suf, between Paran and the towns of Tophel, Laban, Hazeroth, and Dizahab. Usually, it only takes 11 days to travel from Mount Sinai, also called Horeb, to Kadesh Barnea, going through Mount Seir. But 40 years after the Israelites left Egypt, on the first day of the 11th month, Moses was still speaking to the people. He told them everything the Lord had commanded him to say. This was after he had defeated King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, and King Og of Bashan, who ruled in Ashtaroth and Edrei. So while they were still east of the Jordan River in the land of Moab, Moses started to explain God's law to the people. Moses said, "The Lord our God spoke to us at Mount Sinai and told us, 'You've stayed at this mountain long enough. It's time to move. Go to the hill country of the Amorites and all the surrounding areas, the Jordan Valley, the hills, the western slopes, the Negev Desert, the coast, the land of the Canaanites, and Lebanon, all the way to the great Euphrates River. I am giving you all this land. Go in and take it. This is the land the Lord promised to give to your ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to all their descendants.' At that time I also told you, 'I can't handle all of you by myself. You're too many. The Lord your God has made you as many as the stars in the sky. I hope the Lord, the God of your ancestors, makes you 1,000 times more and blesses you like he promised. But how can I deal with all your problems and disagreements alone? So choose some wise, understanding, and respected men from each of your tribes, and I will make them your leaders.' You all agreed that was a good plan. So I took the wise and respected men you chose and made them leaders over groups of 1,000, 100, 50, and 10. I also appointed other officials for your tribes. I told the judges then, 'Listen to the cases of your fellow Israelites and the foreigners living among you, and be fair. Don't show favoritism to rich or powerful people. Treat everyone equally. Don't be afraid of anyone because you are judging for God. If a case is too hard for you, bring it to me, and I will hear it.' At that time, I also gave you instructions about everything else you were supposed to do. Then, just like the Lord our God told us, we left Mount Sinai. We traveled through that big, scary desert, as you remember, on our way to the hill country of the Amorites. When we got to Kadesh Barnea, I told you, 'Now you've reached the hill country of the Amorites that the Lord our God is giving us. Look, the Lord your God has put the land right in front of you. Go and take it, just like the Lord, the God of your ancestors, told you. Don't be scared or discouraged.' But you all came to me and said, 'Let's send some men ahead of us to explore the land. They can tell us which way to go and which towns to enter first.' I thought it was a good idea too, so I chose 12 men, one from each tribe. These men went into the hill country and explored as far as the valley of Eshcol. They brought back some fruit from the land and reported to us, 'The land the Lord our God is giving us is really good.' But you refused to go in. You disobeyed the command of the Lord your God. You grumbled in your tents and said, 'The Lord hates us. He brought us out of Egypt just to hand us over to the Amorites to be killed. Where are we going?' The men we sent ahead have made us lose heart. They said the people there are bigger and stronger than us, and their cities have huge walls that reach up to the sky. They even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. Then I told you, 'Don't be scared or afraid of them. The Lord your God is going ahead of you. He will fight for you, just like he did in Egypt, right before your eyes.' And you saw how the Lord your God cared for you in the desert, like a father carries his son, all the way until you reached this place. But even after all that, you still didn't trust the Lord your God, who went ahead of you, finding places for you to camp and showing you the way to go, in a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. The Lord heard your complaints and was very angry. He swore an oath and said, 'None of the people in this wicked generation will see the good land I promised to give to your ancestors, except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. He will see it, and I will give him and his descendants the land he walked on because he followed the Lord completely.' The Lord was also angry with me because of you. He said, 'Moses, even you won't enter the land, but your assistant Joshua, the son of Nun, will go in. Encourage him, because he will lead Israel to take possession of the land." The Lord also said, "Your little children, who you said would be captured, your innocent children who don't yet know right from wrong, they will enter the land. I will give it to them, and they will possess it. But as for you, turn around and go back into the desert, following the road to the Red Sea." Then you confessed, "We have sinned against the Lord, but we will go up and fight, just as the Lord our God commanded us." So each of you got your weapons ready, thinking it would be easy to conquer the hill country. But the Lord told me to tell you, "Don't go up and fight. I will not be with you, and your enemies will defeat you." I told you what the Lord said, but you wouldn't listen. You rebelled against the Lord's command and proudly marched into the hill country. Then the Amorites who lived there came out against you like a swarm of bees. They chased you and defeated you in Seir, all the way to Hormah. You came back and cried out to the Lord, but he wouldn't listen or pay attention to you, so you stayed in Kadesh for a long time.